of like learning your fate.
Fate. That's an archaic word.
I'm sorry.
An unfortunate word.
Well, I certainly didn't mean...
A word which, if stated in seriousness, would indicate a definite need for readjustment.
Well, or sometimes a word just pops out.
The word fate belongs to the obsolete societies of the barbaric past. You seem nervous.
Well, yes, I guess I am.
Why?
Well, why not? At a time like this.
What is there about a time like this to create what appears to be a state of emotional imbalance?
Oh, I'm balanced. I'm perfectly balanced. Absolutely symmetrical. It's just,
Yes.
Nobody exactly looks forward to computer readout time, do they?
Why not?
Well, it's just you never can tell what the computer has decided. Sort of like learning your fate.
Fate. That's an archaic word.
I'm sorry.
An unfortunate word.
Well, I certainly didn't mean...
A word which, if stated in seriousness, would indicate a definite need for readjustment.
Well, or sometimes a word just pops out.
The word fate belongs to the obsolete societies of the barbaric past. You seem nervous.
Well, yes, I guess I am.
Why?
Well, why not? At a time like this.
What is there about a time like this to create what appears to be a state of emotional imbalance?
Oh, I'm balanced. I'm perfectly balanced. Absolutely symmetrical. It's just,
Yes.
Nobody exactly looks forward to computer readout time, do they?
Why not?
But it's just you never can tell what the computer has decided. fate?
Fate. That's an archaic word.
I'm sorry.
An unfortunate word.
Well, I certainly didn't mean...
A word which, if stated in seriousness, would indicate a definite need for readjustment.
Well, sometimes a word just pops out.
The word fate belongs to the obsolete societies of the barbaric past. You seem nervous.
Well, yes, I guess I am.
Why?
Well, why not? At a time like this.
What is there about a time like this to create what appears to be a state of emotional imbalance?
Oh, I'm balanced. I'm perfectly balanced. Absolutely symmetrical. It's just,
Yes.
I don't know. I texted him. He said he was making dinner, so he might just be preoccupied.
Wanting food to fuel him.
Just drink beer.
I was just going to say, Medicine Hat has changed him. I'll cheers that.
Cheers to beer.
Haley, what are you fueled by today?
Today, I am fueled by Jasper Brewing Company Crisp Pills.
Ooh.
Have you had Jasper Brewing before?
I have not. I think this is a new thing from when I left.
I cannot wait until... Hello, Squee. I can't wait until y'all come back to Berta because we are going to drink some Jasper. I love Jasper. It's real good.
Sold. I was just going to say...
I can take you to all the new breweries that are in town.
I was saying we can do... I'm just going to say we can do our live stream absolutely trashed.
Well, we could do our regular show sober, and then we can do another live stream totally trash. We can, like, I don't know, play something on my Switch or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm down for that, 100%.
How does that sound to you, Squee?
Pippa.
She's about to fight the dog.
Come here.
Oh, good.
She's about to fight the dog. Never mind, the dog is not being fought.
Yeah, well, because the dog is slightly smarter than y'all give it credit for. Slightly.
No, I was just saying, nope, she's very smart. It's just, she's smart enough to just, like, I believe the phrase is willfully disobedient.
The dog is being an asshole. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, the dog is indeed being an asshole.
Pippa, get over here.
All right, we'll fight it. All right, we'll fight the dog later.
Fight the dog later.
We'll fight the dog later. I don't know where that voice comes from, but all right, we're off.
It was, like, kind of Brooklyn.
Hey, I'm walking. Yeah, that's Brooklyn.
Yeah, a little bit Brooklyn.
A little bit Brooklyn.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Bleepin Space Jim. I love a cold open. I don't know about you, Braden.
I was just going to say, they're the only kinds I do. I don't think I know how to prepare for them anymore.
For context, there is a dog. She is in the background. She may get yelled at. Sorry, everyone. That's what's going to happen.
I've got too good a microphone to not pick it up.
It's true. It's true. You spent that good money.
I spent that, pretty decent. Yeah.
You have...
Yeah. Yeah.
I spent $40 on Amazon, dude.
Yeah, I spent more than that. No, it's just, that's more of it's a pandemic. I would say I can record the next famous great novel. It's fine.
It's true. It's true. We could be the next superstars.
We could. In fact, you know what? We're doing this live. We are the next superstars.
Okay, all right. I can get behind that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about episode 3 of Star Trek, the original series, Where No Man Has Gone Before. Overall, Braden, how do we feel about this episode? Well,
I gotta say, I actually unironically enjoyed it. Like, there was very much sort of like I don't want to spoil too much, but like sort of the growth of the villain, sort of like, oh, this was very well done. I would say they sort of blew sort of a physical reveal like a lot earlier than I personally would have, but I'd say I enjoyed it in terms of, well, I would just say, long story short, I enjoyed it. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, we're not rating these episodes, but all right, that sounds great.
I am in my heart, and I guess I've said it out loud.
Yeah, now you have. Sorry. Okay, apparently we're gonna have beer burps tonight rather than red wine burps.
There we are. I would just say once we get to vodka burps,
Oof.
that's how I would say vodka burps might be the season finale one, where
Sure.
we do a couple weeks to recover.
Yeah, yeah, you know what? I can live with that. Sorry, I'm just gonna turn a light on back here. There we go, that's better. Oh, Squee wants
Tequila
tequila
burps.
burps. Oof.
Oh.
I do not need tequila burps in my life. I am too old for tequila burps.
I guess that's just me then.
Yeah, this is this episode. I have a lot of if the last episode was our first experience with a psychic villain, this is our second experience, and it feels weird that we have two of those in the first season.
Yep. In the
don't love
first
it.
3 episodes.
Yeah, yeah. Like very, very quickly, we're getting these kinds of episodes, and I'm just kind of like, oh, we sure? This is what we want? Okay. Yeah.
At least they had the decency to make an actual physical change this time. It was not just an asshole child. There's a physical change.
Hey, Charlie had a physical change. He rolled his eyes in the back of his head.
Okay. Sort of a... Yeah, anyways. That's a call. There's a callback.
Will never defend that episode. I hate that episode so much.
No, it's awful.
Okay. So once again, I am going to read the synopsis from Memory Alpha Fandom, the fandom wiki, because honestly, I started like referencing it as I was writing my own summary out. I was like, this is way better than anything I could write, so I'm just going to keep using it. But I am going to give them proper due. Halftrim Specs has just joined, and he says tequila sounds solid right now.
Yes.
Braden, I really appreciate that both of our spouses are the only ones watching.
Yeah, well, it means they support our crazy things.
They support the work that we are attempting to make.
Mm-hmm.
And Squee wants to do shots.
And a solid, I would say, of our entire audience and us, a solid 25% of us is actually on TV. So, there's that.
Oh, yeah. I was like, who's on TV? Sorry, I need a second because I totally forgot.
Gates, I remember you. I remember you.
I remember him. I just forgot that
you are seen, Gates.
Squee. I mean, you can hear me in the background, so it makes sense for me to come here. Yeah, it is. Yep, there it is.
Yep.
That is the moment.
Yep, she is. I would say she is an audio I was just gonna say Sarah is an audio presence.
She is an audio presence. Okay, I need to start doing this summary. Otherwise, this episode has gone off the rails before we've even started.
Yes, summary. My God, I defy rails. So please go.
I'm sorry, Specs. I'm sorry. Okay, so it opens with Captain Kirk giving us a captain's log. And he says the impossible has happened. They are picking up a recorded distress signal, and the call letters are connected to a vessel that has been missing for over 2 centuries. So then he starts to ask if there's another Earth ship that was about to break the Great Barrier, the Great Galaxy Barrier, in the same way that they're about to. So this is kind of like a big deal. The Enterprise is about to cross the barrier of our Milky Way galaxy into another galaxy. I'm not looking at what Squee said because I know it's going to distract me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'll come back to that one. So Kirk and Spock are playing 3D chess. Spock is about to checkmate Kirk, but Kirk is super distracted at the moment. He's just really focused on waiting for the bridge to get a hold of them. And then we get to see a little interaction between a human and Spock, the Vulcan/human. They talk about how Kirk plays an irritated game of chess, and Spock is like, yeah, that's an Earth emotion. And then Kirk makes a move and goes, you sure you don't know irritation?
I was just going to say, Vulcans have one emotion. Smugness.
Yep. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
I was just gonna say that's a T-shirt. I think I was really just like, yeah,
Vulcans have one emotion: smugness. I'm
yeah.
writing that down.
Thank you. That's all. I would say that's all. That's all.
That's all, folks.
But also just genuine curiosity. Since 3D chess has come by again, like psychic villains, 3D chess has come by again. Do they, in fact?
Yeah, Squee, please.
Yes,
You and I need to
Jesus,
talk,
yes.
Squee. Actually.
Yes. I was just gonna say you don't want me anywhere near a design. You've seen my. Yeah, there we are. Bleepin Space Jim merch.
Yeah, it will happen. Even if it's just T-shirts that you and I own.
Yep. I was just gonna say bespoke merch. I'm here for it. But yes, genuine question: is there rules for 3D chess?
All right, let's find out. 3D chess. Oh, that just said chess.
I was just to say
Star
3D
Trek.
chess is an entirely different search. I think.
I'll show you a 3D chest. Immediately gets banned from Twitch.
Or, I would say this is how we get viewers.
True. Okay. Oh, good lord. Okay, so yes, there are rules.
Are they ever actually referenced in the show, or is this just very much like, okay, pretty much in the same way, like, I'd say, again, I'll talk about the other big Star thing. It's just like,
my god. Braden, I am sending you this in
okay,
our conversation
okay.
because you need to look at this.
Okay.
Long story while Braden is reading that, the long story short is that yes, there are rules for 3D chess. I'm going to put them in the chat for anyone who would like to see them.
I hate it. I was just gonna say I hate
It's
the
awful.
design of this. It's awful.
It's disgusting. I'm gonna give us a little more summary so that we can kind of keep rolling here.
Okay, the set used in Star Trek was a prop with no particular rules set to it, so they're all full of shit. I would say they are looking at this and they are just moving things around.
But
they are just full of shit.
But
Mm-hmm.
read further down, they did eventually make rules. So I bet you that by the time TNG came around, they were actually doing like correct 3D chess moves.
Distinct possibility, but just at this point, this is Leonard Nimoy. Interesting.
Specs, I just want to say we are never playing 3D chess because the fact that we barely play chess as it is because I am not good at chess. Just putting that
Also,
out there.
who has, I was just going to say, I'm actually sad I didn't bring this up, but who has the room in their house for a 3D chessboard?
It's just a little display. I would put it like...
Oh, man.
You can't see it from here. But I have like a little shelf where I keep all my nerdy stuff, so that's probably where I'd put it.
Okay,
Or like, see where my umbrella is? I would put it on top there, and the umbrella could be somewhere else. Squee, the link in the chat that I dropped, those are that's the link to 3D chess rules.
So yes, let's go down this wormhole.
So apparently the four of us are now going to learn how to play 3D chess. This could be a problem.
Well, at the very least, so long as one of us doesn't melt half of them with our minds, we're fine.
Mind.
Or that blowtorch like Sarah has around. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, checks out that Sarah would have a blowtorch.
I feel she'd have at least access to a blowtorch. Yep, that's finger guns.
Specs says he is marginal at chess.
No, don't listen. He's trying to hustle you.
I know.
He
always does this to me where he's like, "Oh, I'm only okay at it," and then he kicks my ass. Always happens.
Haley, have I ever told you I'm terrible at poker?
Gates, I need you to remember that so that I can send Braden a text later. Okay. So finally the call comes through on the comm. They have found the object, and it's now within tractor beam range. And Kelso is relatively unsure about like what this object is. I don't think I grabbed a photo of it. No, I didn't. That's okay.
kind of looks a little bit like a dressed up tire trash can combination.
I thought it was like a side table. Because it's like
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's also just like
this big.
I'd
big.
buy it. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a fair size. I would say like this. I feel like
What?
that would be like a
Squee. Braden, we have successfully created a show where our audience is just our spouses, and they are completely distracting us.
Yep. I was just saying we are very, very easily going off the rails here. It's
Oh
a problem.
God, and it's not even our fault. We're trying.
Mm. Apparently, we attract this in our significant others. We attract chaos.
Well, that checks out. Okay. So basically, it's a little probe, and they liken it to essentially an airplane's black box. So it carries all the records, in theory, when something goes wrong, so that whatever happened to the ship can be recorded and played back later, essentially. It's just distracting when Sarah laughs like that.
She's slowly, I'm just going to say, she's slowly breaking down here. But yeah, it's basically just a black box. Okay, We're finally finding out about what this basically just mysterious vanishing ship.
Yes. So the ship seems to have disappeared. We have found their black box. We still don't know quite how all of this matches. The probe then starts transmitting. Kirk orders a red alert, and everyone goes to their battle stations. So Kirk and Spock go into a turbo lift, and Lieutenant Commander Gary Mitchell joins them. Kirk and Mitchell have a little bit of an exchange, kind of demonstrating that they're friends and that they know each other very well. Once they get on the bridge, Mitchell takes over his station at the helm. He is not a helmsman, but he is at the helm. I think he's navigator in that.
I don't know if they've. I was. Yeah, I think it's
they have not.
navigator.
They haven't defined it. They don't define it. And they're approaching the edge of the galaxy. So Kirk orders an all-stop because they want to have like all the most important people on the bridge. They want everyone to know how important it is. But at the same time, they have this black box that they kind of want to go through first. So all of the department heads report to the bridge, which includes... I need to read this like almost verbatim.
Yes, my God, please.
Sulu reports Astroscience is ready. Scott reports the engineering division ready, as always. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Mark Piper reports life sciences ready, then introduces the USS Enterprise's new psychiatrist, Dr. Elizabeth Daner, who came aboard the vessel back at the Aldebaran colony to study the long-term effects of space travel on the crew. We'll talk about all those characters in just 1 second. Spock points out that he can get a signal from the recorder, so he's able to actually get some of that information out. Mitchell tries to flirt with Dr. Daner, who rebuffs him, and then he calls her a walking freezer unit. And Spock begins interpreting Valiant's messages.
This is sort of where, like, just kind of like in that sort of thing, and okay, I think we're supposed to like Mitchell. I think in theory, I think for the 1960s audiences, he's just like, yeah, he's a red-blooded man. He knows that captain. I think in theory we're supposed to.
Sure. Spec says, get it, Mitchell.
He tries. Lord, he tries.
It feels very weird, and it feels very forced. It's this opening sequence is just very stunted, and I was telling Braden before we started the show that this was in fact a second pilot. So it was written as a second pilot because the first pilot, The Cage, which we have not talked about on the show for very specific reasons that we will get into in later episodes. It was really not, like, The Cage was not appreciated by NBC. They really weren't sure about it. Desilu Studios, where they were filming this, was actually Lucille Ball's studio. She really liked Gene Roddenberry. She really liked the premise that he had come up with, and so she convinced them to write another pilot and for NBC to actually like see this pilot through. So this is how we got Star Trek, was this episode. Obviously, it was released as the third episode in the season. It was not used as like a second, as an actual like pilot or an opening episode. So it's all kind of weird. These first 5 episodes are all a little weird. So we're being introduced to characters that like don't make sense because obviously in the future we all know Sulu is the helmsman. Well, but he's astrosciences here, and in Charlie X he's botany. Dr. Piper is not the chief medical officer as we go forward. It is in fact Dr. McCoy. So it's just like little continuity things that are just kind of weird.
And I was just gonna say, and also William Shatner's hair changes color a fair bit.
Yeah, I didn't clock this. Can you please elaborate?
Yeah, I entirely non-sarcastically, I think this might have been William Shatner in the middle of pilot season, because there are very much points where he's a solid like dark brown brunette hair, and other times where he sort of has the, sort of like the Captain Kirky, like sort of like the dirty blonde sort of hair a little bit. But there's times where he's stone brunette, like absolutely just stone brunette, and sometimes it even changes from shot to shot.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Because I mean, that's actually sort of a thing of just like, oh, if this is the pilot, that makes sense. Because they may have legitimately just been grabbing William Shatner just whenever he wasn't auditioning for something else.
Yes. Sorry, I realized I was sitting very low, and then I was like, oh, I can be tall. Oh, I'm too tall now.
I was like, oh god, I would say with this angle, it looks like I'm a little shorter. I don't know how I feel about this. Give me a sec.
You'll survive.
No!
Yes, Squeeze, Shatner is you in high school. And university. And now.
Yep. There we are.
So Spock starts interpreting the messages that they were getting from the Valiant's black box recorder. They encountered a magnetic storm. They were pulled out of the galaxy, so they were not actually intending to cross the galactic barrier. And the crew was accessing records on ESP in humans. For those that don't know, ESP stands for extrasensory perception. And essentially, the crew of the Valiant was very frantic to find information about it. Captain asks Dr. Daner her opinion, and I'm not so sure about this, but this summary says she mistakes the question as asking whether she has ESP. I am not.
Which is a fucking jump.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't think that's accurate, but I'll let it go. She reports that there are some humans who can see backs of playing cards and so on, but it is never very powerful.
Haley.
Queen of Spades.
Actually,
why do you have
that's close.
2?
Because I dramatically flourished without actually grabbing just one. Queen of Diamonds. Ah! At least it was a member of royalty. Alright, we're not psychic. Continue.
We're not good at this.
No.
But Karen in Mean Girls has a fifth sense. Her boobs can tell when it's already raining. She has ESPN.
Oh, that's in my nasal cavity now. That's in my nasal cavity. No, it's okay. I'm gonna smell maple beer forever.
I didn't ask you what you're fueled by tonight.
Well, I'm fueled by sadness. And I would say the Mick, which is a maple cream ale from Whippersnapper Brewing Company. But of the things that will probably...
Braden.
Yes.
We have a show where we're supposed to entertain people, and you say I'm fueled by sadness?
And
beer.
And alcohol.
For the record, Squee, the line is actually there's a 60% chance it's already raining. Just saying.
I was just gonna say, ooh.
We do live for Mean Girls.
She'll fight you.
So basically, Danner goes like way too far to explain this whole phenomenon when it's like, yes, sometimes people have like a like a gut feeling or a sense about something. Specs really liked our ad break.
I was just gonna say sadness, and I was just say honestly, I take more of a welcome to Night Vale approach to ad breaks.
Yeah,
Just
where they're just chaos.
brought by sadness and Subway. Subway, eat your feelings. Sorry, continue. Yes.
God damn it.
ESP.
Okay. So the Valiant crew was researching ESP, and then, as far as they can tell, the captain seems to have ordered a self-destruct. Captain Kirk decides to go ahead and cross the barrier because he feels that other ships are going to come out there, and it is part of their duty right now. They are being expected to do that.
Also, it would be a terrible show if he stopped and just turned around.
Well, something else would happen, I'm sure.
Yeah, fair.
So there's mixed emotions. Everyone's kind of unsure because you don't know what's going to happen. If you cross the barrier of the galaxy, could something disastrous happen? The ship encounters a strange field, and Spock orders a full array of scans. Deflectors indicating something in front of them, while sensors are saying there's nothing. For some strange reason, Yeoman Smith and Lieutenant Mitchell hold hands.
Well, I was saying, do we have a picture of it? Because I'm kicking myself for not.
No, I forgot to grab one, but it's very weird. It's just, he's like this.
I was saying, she just immediately reaches behind him and just, Yeoman, I need the hand. Yeoman, I need your hand. Yeoman, I need something of you to put. I need something of you to put in my hand.
They have not. Mitchell and Yeoman Smith have not exchanged eye contact, and yet.
Nope.
Okay, we're gonna swap over to show and tell now.
Different blonde person in this entire section, and just. Yep. All right, back to the Yeoman.
So, here is what 3D chess looks like. Maybe it'll work. Slideshow. Come on, slideshow. There we go. Okay.
There we go.
These are the department heads who arrive. Obviously, costumes had not been settled on yet.
Nope, they have not. That was actually my initial thought of, there's no red shirts. Why aren't there red shirts?
Yeah, it's fascinating. There's no red shirts whatsoever. So they do change that eventually. Mm-hmm. So while they're encountering this strange field, there's flashes of light, things blow up. There's electrical discharges penetrating the hull, and a few consoles explode. And then Mitchell and Dr. Denner are hit with some kind of mysterious force. And this is what it looks like. I was actually very impressed with the special effects in this.
Oh, no, to be clear, 100% agree. And even... Excuse me. All right, beer burps are on my side, too.
Yeah.
I would say even just like the practical thing that I think we're probably going to go into, like, that's not bad for like. I'd say that's not bad for late '60s. I was like, yeah, it's fair.
Mm-hmm. It's clearly stuff done on the negative, and you know what? I'm here for it. I love a practical effect. So Mitchell essentially collapses, and the main power goes out, and so the Enterprise is on emergency power, and 9 crew are dead.
I was just gonna say, do we know about the one? I was just say, do you want to go into the particular thing the 9 dead crewmen and the 2 unconscious people have in common?
Aren't they all the ones who have some kind of ESP?
Yes, which is
also hello, Kirk.
Apparently they fucking search for.
Yeah. That is a thing that Starfleet puts on your own medical records.
Yep, I was just gonna say, and honest to God, like, I would say just sort of like, all right, you got the blood pressure, you got the heart pressure.
Petty Pixie, if you change it to that on Slack, I'm gonna kill you. Ace of Spades, Braden.
Well, I got 2 of them, neither of which...
Was it Ace of Spades? Okay.
Nope. Actually, you're kind of dead in the middle, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's the same card.
I was just well. I've got a better answer now. Four of spades.
So
Oh!
close! So
Getting more
close!
psychic as we go. Getting more psychic as we go.
Yeah, we're
I'll get it
connecting
eventually.
better.
All right. Just every time we say ESP, let's figure it out.
Okay, all right. It's
Hour
like
and a half.
a
I would
worse
say this is
drinking
gonna be
game.
this is gonna be a 4.5-hour show. Onwards.
Yeah, so they all had ESP. Ooh.
And they each sort of had that apparently ESP-ish part of their brains like fried. Like that's what killed them.
Just
That one
shocked.
little part of the brain just.
So then we go to the next scene where the bridge and other parts of the ship are being repaired. Everyone was very excited that you almost got the card right.
Almost. So
I
very
also-
close.
Petty Pixie is going to be the one who understands this the best. I just want to point out that Dr. Denner refers to people with ESP as espers. There is a Pokemon literally named Esper.
Do they have glowing eyes?
I forgot to grab a picture, so I'm going to do it right now.
All right. But yes, that's also the. This is also one of the few times I will accept a look down the barrel shot in a TV show. I'm just like, yeah, that's goddamn terrifying.
I don't want to save it as a web file. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I have to do an extremely irritating thing. Because Google no longer lets you just straight up fucking download photos. I have to do...
Right click and save.
Well, no, I have to do like weird screenshots because it was going to save it as a web file. And I'm like, it should not be saved as a web file.
Oh. But no, that's... All right, so yeah, I would say, actually, while you're doing that, I might as well actually kind of go in there. Esper is a favorite shorthand. Is Esper sort of like an actual, like, used shorthand for sort of like psychic things? Petty Pixie?
I don't... Why are we
Or really
asking Petty
anyone.
Pixie that one?
I don't know. I was just going to say, she has a favorite shorthand for psychics, so at this point, I'm just taking a stab in the dark, man.
Here we go. This is Esper.
Aww.
Look at its dead eyes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that one's seen some shit.
Yep. We don't know what it's seen, but it's seen some shit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that is just after they've washed off all the blood covering it after they found it wandering in a forest.
Yep.
Yep.
And it just... Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'll write alternate like sort of Pokedex explanations for each Pokemon that anyone sends me. That's a standing offer.
I love this.
I was just gonna say, I need something to do, man. All right.
Okay, so we're starting to repair the Enterprise, but Gary Mitchell is it. You know what, Squee? I think it was based on the twins from The Shining. Oh, Petty Pixie into ESP and stuff as a kid. He was right to ask. I love that. Very happy to hear that. Oh my god, I like keep moving this image by
We
accident.
have many images for this one. This is a very slideshow centric one.
Yeah. So then we find out that Gary is still in sickbay, and I don't know if you can all see it there, but he seems to have silver eyes now.
Which is the single most painful looking contact lenses to put in.
So, the contact lenses were
It looks
made...
like you're shoving like aluminum foil in there. No shit.
So they took extremely thin pieces of aluminum foil.
Oh god.
And laminated it into contact lenses. And at the time, the lenses were called scleral lenses. So they're what I would call a hard contact lens versus a soft contact. Mm-hmm. So I wear... exactly, Squee. Squee knows what's up. Mm-hmm. So a soft contact lens is breathable and malleable, and you can like it allows oxygen through, whereas a scleral or a hard contact lens does not. So they essentially had to put like a piece of plastic that just like covers your eye. And it had very, very thin tinfoil. So that's actually why Gary Lockwood, the actor who played Gary Mitchell, constantly was like looking down, was like looking down his nose because he couldn't see. So
and it
there
just
was like
looked like he was like just like his eyes were watering the entire time.
Yeah, we talk about how painful those boots are. Those contact lenses must
Like,
have been so much worse.
Oh Lord. I would say Gary Lockwood's the MVP for this one, because that's mild spoilers. That he had that like 98% of the rest of the episode.
Yeah, he spent most of the episode in these.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good time for me to talk about the people that made this episode. So, as we said, this is a second pilot, essentially. It was written by Samuel A. Peoples. It was directed by James Goldstone, who did direct a few episodes. The cinematography was by Ernest Haller, and it was originally aired on September 22nd, 1966. So, Gene Roddenberry wasn't sure about having Ernest Haller come on and do the cinematography because they were having a lot of trouble finding a camera operator. So he asked, at some point, he asked Haller like what his qualifications were, and Haller said, "Well, I made a movie a few years ago that you might have seen. He actually did win an Oscar for his cinematography in Gone with the Wind."
No way.
So
Nominated crossover.
yeah, so the cinematographer for the third episode of Star Trek was also the cinematographer for Gone with the Wind. Oscar-winning cinematographer Ernest Haller.
Oh, no way.
Was there only like 3 people that could work a camera in 1966 in Hollywood? Like, what the hell?
Yes.
Yeah. We had Gary Lockwood playing Gary Mitchell, Sally Kellerman as Dr. Elizabeth Denner, Lloyd Haynes as Alden, Andrea Drum as Yeoman Smith, Paul Carr as Lieutenant Lee Kelso, and Paul Fix as Dr. Mark Piper. These are all kind of just names that were thrown out. Some of them become familiar, some of them are not. I think the most important name that I want to mention is Eddie Paskey. He is a background actor. He's actually in the background of the lounge in the first scene. He was a longtime background actor. Did a lot of work in and around Hollywood around this time. He eventually was given the character name Leslie. Now, the reason that he is so important for me to point out is he was in more episodes than any actor other than Shatner, Nimoy, and DeForest Kelley.
No way. Okay.
He was in 68 episodes. Like, that's not nothing. That's not,
no,
okay, we had this
like
guy.
That, yeah.
That's 2 full seasons and a bit.
Yep. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah. So he was brought in. The idea was that he was going to be like continuity, that we would see like some of the same crew people episode to episode, which is really good, actually. I really appreciate that. Okay. Haley's info break over. So we've got Gary here. He's in the sick bay. He's got silver eyes, and he is reading a text screen. He's reading a viewer, and he seems to just be like reading faster and faster and faster and faster. Kirk comes in, Mitchell greets him, and they talk about past experiences. Again, establishing that they've known each other for many, many years. Mitchell Specs, I'm gonna.
Nice, Specs. Nice.
I'll
encourage him. I'll encourage him.
I know you will, unfortunately. So they talk about like memories. Mitchell says that he feels better than he's ever felt in his life. He's catching up on some reading, including Spinoza, who seems to be a philosopher that just kind of like, ooh, Star Trek future philosopher. They reminisce about their days at the academy, and I really love this. Mitchell says he aimed that little blonde lab technician at Jim. Kirk replies, "You planned that? I almost married her." Which is very cute.
Oh no, and you sort of find out again that, I mean, I would say Kirk is also outed as an enormous nerd. I would say a walking stack of books with legs.
He's my favorite.
I was just gonna say, and you also find out that, Gary Mitchell is the shithead college friend.
Yeah. Gary Mitchell is a frat boy who never had to study and still somehow got A's, even though he was partying every weekend.
And I was just gonna say, and he got it, I was just gonna say, and you find out that Kirk asked for him for his first command, so,
Yep.
His buddy helped him out.
Yep.
His buddy helped him out.
Yeah. So Kirk assigns Dr. Dinner to work with Mitchell because she knows the most about espers, as it were. And Mitchell's not super happy about that because they had kind of a frosty beginning.
As one does with a walking refrigerator unit. But yeah, sorry, foreshadowing.
I think it's foreshadowing that they're like, ooh, we don't like each other. We're never going to get along.
They're going to bang. They're going to bang.
Totally going to
yes.
bang. If they haven't already.
Mm-hmm.
So Kirk leaves the room. Mitchell's still reading his books. He's reading them faster and faster and faster. Spock is monitoring Mitchell's viewer, and then Mitchell looks directly at the security camera, and that is creepy as fuck.
Yes, I was just going to say, and it's not just like an idle thing. No, this is a... Which, again, now that I realize he couldn't see a goddamn thing through them without looking down his nose, this seems less of an acting choice and more of a... Is it there? Is it there?
It works as an acting choice because it gives him that haughty... Like, we talk about people who always turn their nose up or look down their nose at other people. He literally had to in order to act, in order to see.
Fair.
So Mitchell... nope, starting that one over. So Dr. Denner enters sickbay and acknowledges the fact that she realizes that Mitchell doesn't like her very well, or like her very much. He apologizes for calling her a walking freezer unit. She asks him how he feels. He says that everyone thinks he should have a fever or something, and then he starts changing the vital signs on his monitor. He actually brings them to the point where it makes it look like he is dead.
I think more to the point, I kind of read it as, no, he's doing that to himself.
Yes, sorry, you're correct.
That's sort of what I read.
He is shutting down his body. He's choosing to shut down his body. And the thing is, he's shutting down autonomic responses. Like, we don't think about having to breathe, although now you're all thinking about it, and I'm sorry.
Yes, I was just going to say, God damn it.
Sorry. But, like, you don't think about having to force your heart to beat and things like that. Those are automatic responses that your body... You can't make your heart beat. So that is what is at the bottom of your spinal cord. This is what controls it. Okay. And that's why if you break your neck, you will die almost instantly because all of that connection goes away.
Joker. Ah! I probably should have asked if it's a 52 card or a 54 card.
It is a 52.
All right. Well, then I've just blown a guess. All right, hold on.
That's okay.
Let me see if Let me actually see if I've got my full deck out. Don't not that kind of show.
I'll show you a full deck. 10 of spades.
6 of hearts.
That's a diamond.
Thank you, Psychic Haley. 6 of red. 6 of red. Have I mentioned I've been drinking? And fueled by sadness and beer?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Continue.
So Mitchell claims to have read like almost all of the Enterprise's database in a day.
Which would hurt your thumb if he was just going one by one by one by one. That'd mess up your thumb.
It would. It would absolutely mess up your thumb. But because he apparently is psychic, he can not hurt. I don't know. So Denner decides that she's going to test his memory. She shows him the title of a tape and asks him to recite what is on page 387. He recites, "My love has wings, slender feathered things with grace and upswept curve and tapered tip." From the poem Nightingale Woman, written by Tarbold on the Canopus planet back in 1996. In fact...
I was just going to say, in the Canopus planet in 1996.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that they kind of used, like, old dating system when they should have been using star dates.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, back in the 20th century or something like that.
I would say I have also thoughts about the Stardate system, but I kind of want to watch a few more episodes because it seems like witchcraft. But yes, continue.
You know what? Remind me about that. Remind me about poker and Stardates.
Poker and Stardates. We need to keep an account.
So Nightingale Woman was actually The Nightingale, and it was written by Gene Roddenberry during World War II.
Huh!
About his plane.
Oh, I was totally thinking it was going to be his what? No.
He wrote it about his plane.
Fuck his plane.
I mean, to be fair, he wrote Kirk as a man who wants to fuck his ship, so.
And just, yeah, all right, fair enough.
Yep.
So he writes what he knows.
Yep.
He writes what he knows. I apologize to the estate of Gene Roddenberry.
They do not have any approval of this show.
No.
We're just doing this for fun.
Yep. The minute we start making money off of it, oh God help us, though.
Oh, we're screwed. Yeah. We're absolutely screwed.
Give us no money.
Yeah, please don't pay us. Pay us in beer.
Yes. Free beer. We'll accept free beer. Swag, occasional bribes. Sorry, continue. Yes.
Oh my God.
But I was just going to say, yeah, sorry. Continue. I would say, because I think we need to get to the end of the scene before I have my thought about it.
Yeah, so Mitchell and Denner have, like, a very close moment. He talks about how, like, this is a very romantic poem, and it's interesting that she would have picked that one. He brings her very close, asks her how she feels. She replies that she fell, nothing else happened, and he's like, he does not believe what she's saying. However, Lieutenant Kelso walks in, and it is clearly like, oh, I just walked in on something. Hello. Okay, bye.
Yep.
And that's essentially the scene.
I'll say just kind of like on that, like you're going immediately from, I would say, Haley, I don't think it's too much of a IRL thing to say, like, you have hung out with actors before, like you are familiar with acting. I would say, at the very least, have you, at the very least, gone from absolutely hating somebody to being madly in love with somebody in 4 lines of a monologue?
Not in real life.
Okay, I'll accept that.
In my past acting endeavors, yes.
Yes, no, absolutely. In the acting endeavors, absolutely, 100%. But like,
not in real life, no.
No, 4 lines, no. That is far too little. That is far too little time for it to immediately go from, oh, you called me a walking refrigerator, walking freezer
unit.
Thank you. To, all right, let's see if this bed lies back. No, that's a bit too much.
Yeah, it's not believable, but the whole purpose of Star Trek is the suspension of disbelief. And I find that the pacing in this episode is a lot faster than it is in later episodes. They tend to do more of a slow burn. And I think this is because they were trying to, like, get a lot in, which is how we end up with, like, the ending scenes being way longer than they needed to be, because they crammed so much in the first half. They're like, oh my God, we have 15 minutes that we have to kill.
I'm just going to say, and they were, at this point, I think they were all just kind of considering it like an anthology series. So it's just like, oh shit, we aren't coming back to this.
Yeah. So Kelso and Mitchell kind of, they talk back and forth. Mitchell talks about the starboard impulse engine packs and says, like, they're fraying, they're breaking down, you need to go check on them. Kelso goes and looks at those engine packs and is like, oh my God, he's right. There's no way he could have known this. And Mitchell's explanation for it is, I could see the image of the impulse packs in Kelso's mind, and he is a fool not to have seen it. So he basically looked inside Kelso's brain and said, oh, that's, like, saw the image and went, oh, those are breaking down. I should tell him. So then we go to the briefing room where Kelso shows the burnt out impulse circuits. And then they all kind of start talking about Gary Mitchell and what they're going to do with him. Dr. Denner...
And what he might be becoming.
Yes.
Is, I think, more the...
Dr. Denner is late. She said she got held up observing Mitchell, which could mean literally anything.
I was just going to say, that is a euphemism if I have ever heard one.
So she is defending Mitchell. Spock and Kirk are starting to not necessarily accuse, but they are assessing him and saying, you know, like, he is dangerous. He is not a human anymore. He, like, something has happened to him, and we should all be concerned. Whereas Denner is saying, no, he's just, like, a little faster at some things, which is not really accurate. Like, she's definitely blinded by his powers.
And that he's handsome.
He is pretty handsome. Gary Lockwood's
Yeah.
pretty
Oh, absolutely. Oh, God. I was just to say he was in 2000. Oh, goddamn. Was he? No, never mind.
Yes, he was.
I'm going off track.
Nope.
2001 Space Odyssey. 2001 Space Odyssey?
Yes. Yes, he
That's
was.
the one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then Scott reports in from the bridge. The controls had started changing on their own about an hour prior, and every time that it happens, Spock says Mitchell was on the surveillance monitor unit smiling. So essentially Kirk is like, okay, Denner didn't tell me that Mitchell has these new powers and that he's able to change things. She argues that nobody's been hurt, and that he essentially could be a new and better kind of human being, in which my notes I wrote Ubermensch.
Yeah. Little.
I've been reading a little Freddy Nachos lately.
Freddy Nachos.
That's a deep cut from my last podcast on the left, friends.
Freddy Nachos.
Friedrich Nietzsche, Freddy Nachos.
Yeah. I like Freddy Nachos better.
It's real good. Here's a weird sentence. Because there aren't any of those in Star Trek. Sulu adds that the growth of Mitchell's abilities is a geometric progression, meaning they would increase at an exponential rate. Pretty sure that's not the definition of geometric.
Nope. That is... I was just going to say...
You have a degree in math things.
I was just... That's what I'm going to... I would say yes. Yes. I do have a degree in math things, and that was... I almost put the pencil through the paper and just... That's not right!
I'm sure there was a different word they wanted to use, but someone said, yeah, geometric works.
Don't try and explain exponential.
Yep, not really.
Don't do it.
Spock concludes that Mitchell would become uncontrollably powerful within a month, which is, like, very terrifying.
It's just a weirdly arbitrary time frame.
Yeah, he's just decided that that's what
it's a
it
month.
is.
I would say we're gonna stick with the penny metaphor, because Sulu continued on. All right, if you get a penny, then you double it. In a month, you'll be a millionaire. And just, all right, we're sticking with the penny metaphor. Great, we got to do something about him within a month.
Sorry, just my dad.
Also, Petty Pixie, I actually have no idea, but I would say on the ship gains sentience. Oh God, actually, hold on, Haley, is there?
I can't remember.
Okay, fair enough.
Gonna be honest, I can't remember.
I know it happened in Doctor Who. That much I know. And there was at least some Frenching. Oh, that was that. Oh God, I actually did. I was that.
You got me.
Are you also? Yeah.
I am now covered in beer.
Oh, bud.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're right. Turnabout's fair play.
So, Spock advises Kirk that they should take the Enterprise to the planet Delta Vega, where they can adapt the lithium cracking station's power packs to try and repair the damaged systems. And also strand Mitchell there.
Just leave him there.
Yeah, just
I mean,
what is the nautical term for it? Why is my brain not working?
marooned,
Thank
I believe.
you. Yes, they just want to maroon him there, apparently.
Yeah.
Because that's good.
Yeah, should be fine. Should totally be fine.
And Spock is talking about it because he says, I only see logic, I don't see emotion. And Kirk is going, but he's my oldest friend. I need to, like, I have a duty to him. I need to take care of him. But again, Spock only sees logic, and he says that the captain of the Valiant probably had a similar dilemma, and he ended up self-destructing his ship.
Mm-hmm.
So they then set a course for Delta Vega. That's not the image I wanted. I wanted to take a brief second to appreciate the matte paintings in this episode because they were phenomenal. Like, look at this. This is gorgeous.
Spectacular. It's spectacular. They do amazing work for a thing that is shown maybe 6 seconds.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
Like, maybe.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Like, matte background paintings. I miss it so much. It's sad to me that it's been replaced by 3D, by a lot of like green screening, because I would just. Anyways. So Mitchell's telekinetic powers continue to grow. He is now at the point where he has telekinesis. He can physically move objects. He floats a cup of water to himself.
Which I won't lie to you. I would say I won't lie to you. Just sort of like going immediately from he can control the ship with his mind to water. That I would say that's a bit of a. If he brought the entire kitchen to him, that'd be cool. But also, I acknowledge, you can only do so much with like strings and magnets. I would say, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, they had to demonstrate it somehow, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
So Kirk, Spock, and Dr. Jenner enter to see him levitating the cup. And Kirk is still struggling. Spock is recommending that he kill Mitchell while he can. And Mitchell basically says, you're past that point. You're not going to be able to kill me now. Mitchell hits Kirk and Spock with an electric shock. He tells them that he knows they're orbiting Delta Vega, but he's not going to be forced down there, which is unfortunate for him because he then gets tranquilized and dragged to the transporter room.
Which I was just gonna say, and also Mitchell is the second one second one from the left.
The one doing
unconscious theoretically,
but standing
that's
up.
Also just I would say, and also that's just sort of the maybe distinct realization that they had. Like I would say, like script, it's fine. I would say just like I was just gonna say Kirk, Spock. I would say the doctor, psychiatrist bring the unconscious Mitchell down to Earth. Once you realize, oh, actually, we're having all of these people stand under these lamps. Oh, that doesn't quite work. That doesn't quite work on set.
In the past, however, they have, like in other episodes, they have shown people like being transported up while lying down. So I think it could have been possible, but again, because this was
just
like
didn't have that idea
pilot.
in the pilot.
Exactly. So then they're in the transporter room. They're preparing to beam down. Mitchell regains consciousness and he yells, "You fools! Soon I'll squash you like insects."
Which kind of takes the basically the steam out of the. He could be a good guy. He could be a good super ubermensch.
Yeah, he could be a good Superman.
That's gone right out the way.
No, he
cannot.
That's
gone right out the window. Nope. To Delta Vega with you.
Yep.
You
pretty
maniac.
Much.
He can't be killed, but boy, can he be knocked out with a right hook.
Yes. Yes, he can. So they move Mitchell into a holding cell down on Delta Vega. Kelso is salvaging the needed components from the outpost, and things start to come to a boiling point. Mm-hmm. Mitchell reminds Kirk of how he saved his life on Dimaris, taking poison darts meant for the captain and nearly dying from it. Why should Kirk fear him now, essentially?
Aside from all of the terrifying things he has done.
Precisely.
Mhm.
Mitchell has been testing his ability to take over the Enterprise, and it reminds him of the threat he made in the transporter room to squash them like insects. If this had actually been released in the order that it was filmed, or vice versa, if it had been filmed in the order that it was released, then I think we might have had a little more reference to Charlie X. But again, because this episode was seen as a second pilot and it was filmed early on and Charlie X came later, I will give it a pass, but that is a bit of like continuity that you kind of forget needs to exist.
I think really, like, if this was sort of like continuity of Charlie X happened before this, Kirk's venting anyone who even starts looking at a card. I would say Ace of Spades, puke, I'm out. You're out. You're gone. 7 of Diamonds.
Pippa, come here. Come here.
Oh!
So close!
Oh my god!
So close!
Alright, hold on.
Okay. 2 of clubs.
King of Diamonds.
Okay.
Alright.
You're getting more psychic and I'm getting less psychic.
I was just gonna say, oh god, I'm getting vented by William Shatner. That's what's happening. It's gonna end up happening.
Jim, there's an imposter among us. Vent him, damn it!
What are you talking about?
I've got men up there. Vent him.
But he's been trying to take out the trash all this time. He's only been in the conference room. Continue. This is going.
We could go. Oh man, that's a bit. That's a good bit. I like that bit. We're coming back to that bit.
All right.
Mitchell defends himself by saying, well, I was drugged. Of course, I'm going to say weird things when I'm drugged. But then he also says that mankind cannot survive if a true race of espers like himself is born. And then he attempts to escape the force field. Kirk pleads with him to stop, but he doesn't. He's jolted back, and we see just a second of the original Gary Mitchell. And then the power immediately comes back, and he says he's just going to keep getting stronger.
And I think just that split second where he doesn't, I was just going to say where Gary Lockwood, the actor, does not have those contacts in there, is the single greatest day on set for him. It's just for that split second, it's just, oh God, my eyes can breathe. Oh God, my eyes can breathe. He'll blink, he just looks happy, and just, oh.
As someone who wears contact lenses, and like I wear soft, breathable contact lenses, there are days where it just feels like plastic is on my eyes, and I'm like, oh, which is also why I wear glasses most of the time, because my eyes dry out, because I live in a desert.
Yep, it's true. You do.
Not to be confused with a dessert.
Well, yeah. I like that. Thank you. All right.
So, repairs are nearly done. Scott beams down a phaser rifle.
Which is a spectacularly retrofitted cock gun. That's what it looks like.
Yep, that is exactly what it is. It is the first and only appearance of the phaser rifle.
Yeah.
So Kirk is still resentful of how Spock is acting towards Gary, but again, Spock is just being logical. He believes that the crew will be lucky to repair the Enterprise and get away without Mitchell getting a hold of them. Kirk finally sees Spock's viewpoint, and he has Kelso install a self-destruct switch to the power bins of the outpost, so that, in theory, if Mitchell escapes, the button can be hit and the entire valley can be blown up. So now, the majority of the landing party is starting to return to the Enterprise, and we have Dr. Denner. She's completely transfixed on Mitchell, and then she decides she's going to stay on Delta Vega with him. Simultaneously-ish, Mitchell uses his powers and he remotely strangles Kelso, which is not cool, dude. Kirk orders Denner to return to the ship. Mitchell turns to the captain and taunts him that Kirk should have killed him while he still had the chance. With that, he shocks both Kirk and Spock and easily eliminates the force field holding him. Denner takes no action to stop him, and he slowly walks her over to a mirror where she can now see the light in her own eyes.
I would say she can now see it. Yeah, I would say, yeah, she can see the light. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep.
It took me a second. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It just, I wanted the dramatic effect of, shit, she's on the same team as him.
Yeah.
So a little later, Dr. Piper revives Captain Kirk from the shocks, informs him that Kelso is dead, and that Mitchell and Dr. Denner have left the facility. Kirk advises Piper not to revive Spock until after he's left, as Kirk now blames himself for not listening to the Vulcan's warning, which is just like the start of a beautiful friendship.
I was just gonna say, Haley, do you sort of have like written down just like what the Doctor's sort of directions were?
I don't. Do you have it written down?
Oh, I was gonna say it's basically for all intent. It's the most spectacularly unhelpful. Like he went towards the sunrise by the pointy peaks.
Yeah,
yep, by the pointy
whatever the
peaks.
hell that means.
Just, I would say, as opposed to all those flat peaked mountains.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, yeah, the mountains, the pointy ones. Go over there.
Yeah, go to the pointy mountains.
Son of a bitch, he finds them.
They're that way.
I guess it worked. Yep. That way towards the pointy bits.
I'm actually pointing west right now.
I'm... Alright, mine's north.
Mine's
more of a visual.
I had to explain to some people from Toronto on Saturday that if you're ever lost in Calgary, find the mountains, because that's west.
Yep. Yeah, see, I lack that here in Ottawa. There are no western mountains, and that fucked with me for a couple of years. Just...
I can imagine.
I have to use the sun. Like regular people.
Okay. We're almost there, Braden. We're almost there. All right. So, Kirk grabs the phaser rifle and he says that Piper and Spock have to return to the ship. If they don't hear from him in 12 hours, they are to proceed at maximum warp to the nearest starbase, and then subject the entire planet to a lethal concentration of neutron radiation, which would destroy all human life on that planet.
Which is probably worth mentioning. It's an uninhabited planet. So at this point, it's just basically...
Tree people.
Yep. 3 people.
So now we move to an open valley. Mitchell is able to conjure up basically a little oasis for himself and Denner, and they're starting to wax poetic about the gods that they could be and like the world that they could create for themselves.
Let go.
Mitchell invites Denner to talk to the captain, and they begin to realize just how unimportant humans are compared to what they have become. So they really start to feed into their own god complex, and they start yes-anding each other, essentially.
Improv. Terrible among quasi, deities. Come on. I was just going to say, hold on. But I was just going to say, again, if you and your brother could create immediately what you start improvising, what sort of chaos would end up happening?
A lot of chaos, because I've seen my brother improvise a scene where he is literally hanging onto the edge of a flying car. Danger.
All right, I'm on board. I'm on board. Hold on. Queen of Diamonds.
9 of clubs.
Damn it! All right. I think I peaked too soon.
Yeah, that's possible. So Kirk then appeals to Denner's humanity and her profession as a psychiatrist and says, like, what do you believe is going to happen? If you let Mitchell's power grow, what is going to happen?
The power of a god with the fallibility of a man.
Yep.
Give or take.
Pretty much.
And boy, oh boy, I was just say, does he have a lot more gray there?
Yes. Yeah, so they say it's because of premature aging. It's really not explained in the episode, so we just kind of assume that it's like
They
a
just
side
didn't
effect.
spray. They just didn't spray him.
Yeah.
Shatner bounced back and forth into, I would say, between blonde and brunette, like pretty much on Delta Vega. That's 98% of where
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, that's very true. Mitchell appears before both of them. Kirk opens fire with the phaser rifle, but it has no effect. And he basically casts the weapon aside.
Hence why we never see the phaser rifle again.
Pretty much. Mitchell taunts Kirk. Oh, where?
I would say, do you have the line?
I don't have the line. If you have it, please show us, because I am trying to make things happen.
I believe, like, basically Mitchell appears in, I've been contemplating the death of an old friend.
Oof.
Which is a spectacular line. And then and then just basically, well, I mean,
he conjures a grave.
Yep, he conjures. I would say, first of all, he conjures a hole, and then he conjures the single most aggressively. I mean, CGI is the wrong word, but that grave ain't there.
Yeah.
I'd say just.
Well, no, it's
Boom,
styrofoam. Could you see it fall over?
Oh, okay, fantastic. I would say it's just like, oh, that ain't quite right. I would say, and just, it's even got a star date on there, which is lovely.
Yeah, that is very lovely. One of the other Gary quotes that I really liked was, good lord, I wrote it down. Oh, command and compassion are a fool's mixture.
Oh, that's also a really.
So Squee, we're putting those on shirts. Those are the two things we're gonna put on shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he creates a grave, and then they start fighting. They start physically fighting. Mitchell essentially is trying to use his powers to force Kirk to do things, and then Kirk just physically fights Mitchell. Denner.
Well, I mean, they also try. I would say basically at this point, like I was just gonna say, like, Mitchell literally is just sort of like puppeting Kirk to just like, all right, I would say basically pray to me, pray for a quick death, and literally forces him to his knees, hands together, and then basically Kirk appeals to I would say the psychiatrist and just, yeah, you see what's happening. Again, the power of a god, the fallibility of a man.
Absolute power
and
corrupts absolutely.
Oh yes. Now do you see it, Doctor? Absolute power corrupting absolutely. Then she lightnings him. Then he lightnings her. Then she lightnings him. Then he lightnings her. In a scene that I can only imagine that Roddenberry himself had to come in and just, guys, this is going to look really cool once the effects are done.
Guys, I swear.
Because without it, it's... That's pretty much what happened. It just back and forth between those two, just...
Yep, there's a lot of, like, staring at each other with weird faces.
Yep, I would say, and then the Doctor passes out, Mitchell is severely depowered, and then Shatner decides to try and beat the shit out of him.
Yep, which he attempts to do. We get the artful rip of the uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they battle back and forth for a little while. Kirk keeps begging Gary to forgive him for what he has to do. And then Kirk manages to grab the phaser rifle and shoot a rock formation that falls onto Gary in the grave, which is actually when we see the gravestone fall. Mm-hmm. So all of that just comes collapsing on him. And he basically locks him into a tomb. Kirk goes over to Denner. He kneels beside her. She apologizes for her actions, but she says Captain Kirk has no idea what it was like to almost be a god. And then she dies because unfortunately it did take all of her life force.
Mm-hmm. I will say, like, when he picked up the phaser rifle, I was entirely expecting it, just like, I was expecting a Terminator moment to just like, all right, now you. That is entirely what I was expecting, and it's like, no. All right, fair enough.
So Kirk then hails the Enterprise with official losses. Dr. Elizabeth Denner, be it noted, she gave her life in performance of her duty. Lieutenant Commander Gary Mitchell, same notation. So he honors them both in their deaths. Kirk gets back to the Enterprise. He laments to Spock that he wanted Mitchell's service record to end with dignity, because Mitchell didn't ask for what happened to him. He didn't ask to be basically electrocuted and given extra powers. Spock admits that he felt for Mitchell as well. With a smirk, Kirk remarks that maybe there's hope for Spock after all.
I will say it is incredible, like how immediate a whip turn that a lot of these episodes are in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, you get like just
Jesus.
Yeah,
there is no pathos.
There's a lot of whiplash in these episodes. It's very terrifying when like we've been building, the episode ends and you're like, okay, we're gonna have like a cute moment, and then it's like, yeah, it just like stabs you in the heart, and you're, oh, I just experienced character death. Why are you doing this to me?
There's just an immediate sort of like actual feelings moment, and then just no, you're just all right. Oh, but yes, I will say of the 2 psychic episodes that I've watched,
this one's better.
This one's the better.
Yeah, it's way better. I can see why it was a second pilot. I can see why NBC executives would have watched it and been like, oh, okay, yeah, this might actually be a decent show. We might be able to make something of this. Mm-hmm. And all the like weird costuming and character choices and casting choices aside, like you can see the bones here. You can see, except he wasn't in the episode.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I would say they haven't quite gotten to him yet.
Yeah, you can see where Star Trek can go. Obviously, where no man has gone before, but also creating something totally fresh and something interesting. So it's kind of weird that it's the 3rd episode, but it feels like a really good pilot.
Mm-hmm. No, I could definitely see how it's got greenlit end, I guess.
Thank goodness it did.
Thanks, Lucy. Yeah, thanks, Lucy.
Yeah, thanks, Lucy.
Thumbs up over here.
Yeah.
There we are. Apologies.
Yeah, you're like leaning in one side of the frame.
No. There we are.
That's better. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about this episode?
Any last thoughts on this episode? Honestly, I think I've gone on enough tangents that I think I've probably solved it. But, you know what? One last thing before we go.
Yep. Seven
I like
of
that
hearts.
you're actually... 10 diamonds.
Okay.
You got the color right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's about it. So we have an exciting announcement, don't we, Braden?
God, yes.
Normally, we do this show every 2 weeks. So in theory, you would be seeing us July the 13th. However,
yes, July 13th.
One of us is going to be traveling at that time. Braden is actually going to be on a plane during the time that we would normally have the episode. And he's going to be on a plane to Calgary. So the week after, so that is July 20th, Wednesday, July 20th, we are going to have an in-person episode.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be great.
I get to, like, actually touch you and share beer with you. It's going to be so good.
No. It's going to be, I was just going to say, it's going to be fun. It's going to be excellent. Interpersonal communication, which I've been told is a good thing.
Yeah. Being physically in the same space as other humans is very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So no episode 2 weeks from now, no episode July 13th, but there will be an episode July 20th. And then we'll deal with scheduling after that. We'll figure it out.
Exactly. It'll be figured out. It'll be figured out later, and I guess I'll probably be in the section of your house that's like underneath the Shatner poster.
Well, I can also put you in front of the couch, so we can still see
that'll
the
also
Shatner
work too.
poster. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure out logistics later.
We'll
figure out the logistics.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll fix it. Or fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
I'll just slowly wander around your house, just trying to figure out a good place to be. Just How's this work?
You're in my closet.
I was just gonna say, there's no echo, but I can't see anything. Haley, I'm scared.
My closet's not that big.
Oh, fair.
So, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for going on that roller coaster that was the first 20 minutes. Sorry.
No. I would say that is an apology that only is Haley. I apologize for nothing about that first 20 minutes. Afterwards, well, we'll discuss. But the first 20 minutes, no, I stand by it.
Okay.
I stand by it.
All right, I guess you're allowed to.
There we are.
All right. So,
Strong opinions held loosely. That's me.
Braden,
Yes, Haley.
live fast and get fucked or whatever.
Live fast and get fucked and whatever to you too.
Bye.
Bye.